Hey guys, good afternoon. I'll just have to say this, right? Yes, I've been ripping Democrats for not fighting hard enough, for being too wedded to order, conformity, norms, sequence, good governance, basically. I've been ripping them for that. Now, let me say something. This is a bit of a nuanced point I want to make, but let me say something right now. For the record, the way the Democrats govern, the way they run things, that is supposed to be the way countries are run. Most advanced democracies in the world govern with a fealty to facts and expertise and reality. They govern with a fealty to decency. They govern with with a certain I would say relative altruism when it comes to the people they govern. They govern, for the most part, most advanced democracies govern to take care of the whole, govern to take care of everybody rather than just a select few, right? For the most part. Now, there's asterisks there. Of course, we know corporatism is a plague everywhere, but the way the Democrats have governed and the way they have at this point they reflexively and in their sleep tend to govern is the way the country should be run. Taking care of social safety nets, worrying about the environment, worrying about climate change, worrying about making things better for people, worrying about a fair taxation system and things like that. That is the way a country is supposed to be run. Being nonpartisan, right? When it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to social safety net, when it comes to certain things, you know? That is the way the country is supposed to be run. Unfortunately, when you, the good governance people, who you are reflexively, instinctually held by tradition, ethics, decency, norm, experience, expertise, when you run into a frightened, craven, fascist, bold, unapologetic, violent, white supremacist opposition that doesn't even care for the Constitution if it runs afoul of what they want, your good governance, reflex, your good governance sleepwalking, as it were, is going to not only be woefully inefficient, it actually works in the fascists' favor. Unfortunately, it works in the fascists' favor. And I need us all to recognize that. And at the end of the day, you can no longer govern or resist fascism via the rules of uprightness and good governance and effectively stop fascism. You can't effectively fight fascism if you want to hold on, if trying to hold on to good governance reflexes. In a sense, to fight fascism, you have to kind of be like the fascists to fight them. And if you have to be like the fascists to fight them, then the fascists have essentially won already. Because you have to break the system in a weird kind of paradox. Democrats have to break the system, break the rules, ignore the norms, ignore sequence, ignore precedent in order to save the system. And to further fortify the system, they have to be ready and willing to break those norms in order to stave off the guaranteed attempted return of fascism if you should prevail over fascism. And at that point, we have truly lost our democracy. This is no longer a democracy. When you have one half of the electoral machinery who is openly, unapologetically, and entitled fascist, violent, white supremacist, then then good governance and the rule of law cannot stand. That cannot stand. If you have two parties, right, who are governing a country, good governance requires the willing buy-in, a willing détente between both sides for good governance to prevail. And for centuries, that essentially was the case. That existed in this country. Even though various administrations went beyond the pale and stretched things, they still were helmed by good governance for the most part. There's certain things they just didn't do. They didn't try. But at this point, at the 250th anniversary of this country, we're seeing that détente fail. And with it, our democracy is failing. Again, Democrats, to fight fascism, have to kind of be quote-unquote fascist and be willing to be fascist in order to shore up the democracy from the guaranteed attempted resurgence of fascism if they were to prevail over fascism in this moment of time. And because they have to be willing to do that, because that is a necessary quality, because that is someplace the Democrats have to be willing to go to the last man and woman, then that means we do not truly have a good governance structure anymore. We have a shell of it. We have a pretense. We have a hollowed out shell. It's a costume. And we should all be very, very, distraught and sad over that. Yeah, I want the Democrats to fight. They have to fight because this is lethal for many of us. But we have already lost. It's just true. We have already lost. We have already lost, people. We've lost.